So if strength is active, right, usually flexibility would consider maybe a little bit more passive if you look at contrast and kind of that opposite end of the spectrum. But there can be active stretching, right? We do quite a bit of that. Usually moving stretching or dynamic is part of that active quality within mobility, creating range of motion. There's really many, paths to the mountaintop of flexibility, right? And we don't want to get stuck in one way. There's really like four main categories of flexibility work with a lot of subgroups. So tonight we're going to do a little mix, a little bit more on the passive side. So just, as always, everyone looks familiar. You got your yoga blocks, you got your strap, maybe a bolster, a pillow if you have one. We're going to begin. So we're going to start in one of my favorite ways to start, restorative yoga, just yoga in general. And it is a passive approach to flexibility. Now, you got a couple options. I'm going to take my block. So you can see I have my first block lined up. You guys know this. It's called supported or restorative fish. I'm going to take that block behind me. It's underneath my upper back. So it's my shoulder blades. It really shouldn't go that low, yogis. I tend to see a lot of people that put the block too low. It's underneath like their lower ribs or like upper abdomen. And really, it's hard to beat this start here, guys. It's going to hit the rib cage, the abs, the chest, the whole chest opens. It's spine. Now, if you want more, this is a nice addition here for flexibility. I'm going to throw the soles of my feet together, let my knees fall over. All right. If you're just joining, we're starting in a restorative yoga posture. Amazing for flexibility. Deep release again. The thighs are optional. Another nice option is to kind of really open your arms. You can even kind of reach them back for more. I'll let you decide that. But, don't forget, it's kind of your first posture. And if you're new to it, maybe you take it easy. Now, just so we're clear, I reached my arms back. And what happened is now my block is kind of in like not the optimal position. So I kind of have to, readjust. So don't like sit in a space that's uncomfortable. If you're new to this, yogis, you do have to kind of explore and search, just like every yoga pose I suggest. I need you to kind of know all spaces. It's like you kind of need to know what's wrong to know what's right. So if it's low, you think it might be too low, the upper block, it might most likely is, right? So try to readjust, slide down the block. I have my block under my head, my second block. You don't need that. You want to go big. It's more the neck opener too, okay? And you can kind of go here. All right, so everyone looks set up. And let's just, take another like minute or two. Try to relax. Maybe start to, close your eyes, do a little breath work. Starting to breathe deeper, slower. And really, this is the foundation of like a yoga practice here. We take a few moments to ground and center, to arrive into our practice and create self-awareness through intention. So the way we kind of ground is by being still. Laying on the ground, literally, you're on the ground. And awareness, I use breath. It really helps connect me to the internal subtle self. So you're tuning in internally. Okay, so if you're just joining, we're doing supported fish pose. We're laying on our blocks with our butt on the floor, and our back is in kind of like a big arch. Your soles of the feet together, your knees can be open. Yeah, you guys know this one. Start to relax for a few minutes. Okay, we're starting off that new year. Remember your intentions. Sometimes in the beginning of specialty practices, I like to take a moment and, in a sense, send a message to my body. Like I'm working on flexibility. It's a lot of times, if yoga means union, communication can be yoga practice. So, just clearly communicating your body, like talk to your body. For some of us, that might be a little weird, but literally, talk to yourself, send those vibrations, those communications and intentions verbally or mentally to yourself. Now, If you're used to this, you can hold a lot longer. But as the instructor in a multi-level group setting, I kind of err on the side of a beginner. So I'd rather protect the beginner, just reminding the people who are used to it that you can kind of make it longer if you need. But I really don't want a first timer, even like a 10th timer, really holding this too long. So when you decide to exit, my first suggestion is using your hands to bring your knees together, because that's a big, couple minutes on the inner thighs. Then I would take my hands behind my head to kind of lift my head. So I assist my neck. I lift the head, then the neck can hold. I use my arms, my core to either roll to the side or to sit up. So there's a couple of different ways to get out there. I actually like to use the core, it's counter, to sit straight up, symmetrical, more than the commonly taught roll off to the side. Rolling out of extension, not warmed up, kind of not that great. So listen, guys, if you're still holding, you're going to catch up when you're ready. And I just want you to, for a moment, knee on our back and release the legs. So you know what I like to do. I like to add a little bit of a warm-up. In this class, more flexibility-focused warm-up. So just movements, but nothing too active. Our first breath is going to take us to the full body stretch. When you're looking at like just kind of basic, excellent full body stretches, you can't look past this kind of idea of reaching your body in length. The arm active opposes the leg and the core active. So it's like you're being pulled apart via your muscles, okay? You can inch a little side to side. I do suggest a lot of exploring. So you can't really see it, but I'm kind of side bending over to the left. I'm kind of barely side bending over to the right. I'm pushing my right heel a little forward. I'm pushing my left heel a little forward. And those are all options. We're going to start by bringing the knees into the chest whenever you're done there. Remember, warm-up in particular is even more intuitive. So I'm going to start in my body, kind of rolling out my ankles, wiggling my toes. Not every class do I really do a lot of stuff in those smaller, the gentle yoga, we go a lot into the smaller body parts though, okay? Now, I kind of want you to just move now. So we have a few options. A little bit easier would be like this. See how I keep my right knee in, I squeeze it. Not going to hold yet, don't worry, we're going to get there. And then I'm going to bring the left knee in, bring the right leg forward, and squeeze it. And I'm going a little extra slow here in the beginning, okay? Right knee in, left leg forward. That's like core work, by the way. So, press your lower back down a little bit there, okay? Now, if I want a little bit more, I can stretch my full body, bring it in, stretch my full body, left knee in. These are both methods I use to warm you up. Which one's calling to you? Either way, you're getting both knees squeezed in. You're stretching the lower back, the hamstrings, the glutes. You're starting to stretch the arms a little bit more here if you're doing the full body stretch. So take the last few moments there, please. As long as you're squeezing one knee, then the other knee in, we're doing what I'm kind of looking for here, okay? And this is very common in yoga pose. It's kind of like a reclining, like child pose, right? How when you lay in your thighs, they pull in. Apanasana, it's called, one of the most foundational reclining yoga poses. Just knees into the chest, okay? Here we go. Let's bring our knees into our chest and watch me. I'm going to draw circles with the knees together. Now, that's quite different. It's a little bit more for massage. It kind of, like, let's say, core work. So as I bring my legs forward and down, I got to kind of press my lower back down. We do want a little bit of a core warm up here before we stretch. So it's a big circle with intention of massaging at my back, feel my core muscles turning on, okay? And then I'm going to go reverse directions. And then something completely different, but good to distinguish the difference, right? I'm going to grab my knees and I'm going to circle my knees individually in a sense, even though both are circling. And now that is hip circumduction. So we're taking that ball and socket joint and circling it in that ball and socket. All right, and then you can go both. And if you want it to be a little bit more active, you do it without your hands. But at that point, you gotta like activate core, you gotta press your lower back down. Okay, so anytime we're doing an exercise and weight or tension or body, let's just say weight, is pulling your lower back arch off the floor, that is straining lower back. Abs are not engaging, that's why the tension is pulled through the lower back. Yogis, it's a good thing to remember, keep that lower back down if we're doing something in the core and you feel it like arching. All right, guys, now feet down, wide, knees go right, knees go left. Oh yeah, arms go wide here, guys. Knees go right. If you want to bring, as your knees go right, if you want to bring your head to the left, might feel good. As your knees go left, you might want to bring your head to the right. All right, so you got a few more here, yogis. It can be simple, doesn't have to be perfect. I'm asking you to move your body, nice light way, just to get a lot of blood flushing through major joints, muscular systems. And if there's other little movements you feel like you want to do, beautiful. All right, I love when I see you guys listening to your own body. That is what we're trying to develop. Not necessarily always depending on the instructor, but learning to just trust our instincts and intuition. Next, warm up. We do have to turn on our back body. We can't just go flexion dominant. Arms down, feet down right beyond the sit bones. Probably our most active part of the warm up. Lower back presses down, tilt pelvis, lift hips, bridge. We're not trying to go for real strengthening unless you want to hold. We're going to go down, massage our back down. Lower back hips down, relax your legs and back a little. Press your lower back down, lift your hips. Okay, now I'd like you to do about, 5, 8 more bridges. You got to do a few. 1 or 2 isn't really going to create like a lot of heat. I do want a little bit of heat here. Stretching a nice warm body, it's going to feel better and you're going to be more flexible. Right? So if I give you a nice little moving warm up, makes that whole process just a little bit, more quality. All right. So just remember that you warm yourself up before you do on the average some stretching. Unless you're a gymnast, you can stretch cold or power yoga. I'll throw you right into a stretch for the challenge of it, but not in this one. All right. So we're here in the end of the warm up, guys. You're going to bring your hips down. I'm just kind of bringing you through some stuff. Again, using it as warm up, not as a intentional kind of pose there. So left leg is going to go forward, right knee comes in. Now, if you want lighter, both knees bent. So you see that? Both knees bent. Or if you want a little bit bigger stretch already, right knee above the hip, take it across the body. Now, I'm going to do that moving twist. Don't over twist, yogis, okay? There's a lot of twisting in yoga, and a lot of us aren't used to that, and that can be a lot on the body the first few years. I'm going to bring my arms wide to the T. Now, you're going to kind of play with your position here. You're going to exhale your right hand over to your left. And again, I am kind of rolling onto my side so you can see my back. And then I'm going to inhale, my back rolls down, and I roll open right. Look right. Okay? Now I'm going to exhale almost over to my side, and I turn my chest down. Inhale here. So you're going to a few more. If you need one more quick demo, you're basically like this on your back. You're rolling like this. You're going like that over inhale. And again, I did say roll all the way over your left, so that bottom arm almost goes across. It's opposite. It's called horizontal adduction. So it's a little kind of thing I often forget to mention, and got to reiterate that there, that you almost roll to your side. So the arm crosses the body, that left arm. And then as you roll off of it, it goes like that to that, and kind of like this to that. Last few on that side. If you do want to hold the stretch, you can, but I will have you hold something similar to that in a few moments. Okay, so I'm not going to cue it, but if it feels good, that is more important than what I'm teaching. Okay. When you're done, we're going to come back to our center. I'd like you to give it a squeeze for a moment. All right, and then second side, right leg release, left knee above left hip, scoot your hips left, left knee across. You're like this on your back. You're going to reach your arms wide. You're going to exhale your left hand toward your right hand, okay? You're going to inhale, open up. Does everyone get that? And guys, it's a moving twist. You know, our spine is designed to move. You know, if we always only kind of have you sitting in deep end ranges and stretches, and there's not that much focus on the kind of movement actionability of joints, a joint by definition is a moving body part. It's not a stabilizer, it's not a stiffened thing like muscle. Yes, we do need to obviously work on stabilizing joints. We're not really doing that in this class. It's again to rejuvenate the movement of joints and rejuvenate basically the movement of muscles and the ability for muscles to do their function, which is lengthen and shorten in a flexibility kind of approach. All right, obviously, all our body parts have multiple functions, but our intention brings us to a certain method and approach. Okay, so you're doing your twist on your second side. You're kind of on your own here. You're making it feel good. You do a little extra if you feel like you need it. When you're done, let's come back to center. All right, let's start the flexibility practice. We're gonna go with straps this evening. If you don't have a strap, a pair of sweatpants, a beach towel, even a t-shirt. I do prefer a little longer strap tonight for what we're gonna do, because we're gonna try it moving in multiple ways today. Don't worry, we will do holding stretches. So I'm gonna take the strap around my right foot. This is a pretty cool type of strap. It has like all these different loops. If you've ever seen these are really nice. They're kind of specialty strap. So you can see I kind of have a neat loop here. Now, yogis, if you can't do what I'm about to do, you're just gonna hold here. That's okay, all right? If you're gonna try something new, you gotta keep some weight in your hands. Notice I'm a little bit more active. Look at my left front leg. What I'm gonna do is inhale. Notice I don't sit up. I'm gonna bring the leg forward. Exhale, I'm gonna bring it up and kind of pull. I'm not really straining and forcing it. I'm gonna inhale, big exhale, try to relax your leg. Now, if I wasn't clear, I do keep weight in the hands and the strap, but I am kind of using my strength in my leg to lower down, reciprocal inhibition, exhale back up, pull. Okay, so I'd like you to do maybe like 10 of those. This is a specific method. It's called active isolated stretching. So the active part is reciprocal inhibition. So we're using multiple methods to create flexibility, release, elongation. So again, active on the way down. The leg has most of the weight. Passive as I pull, I relax the leg. Does everyone get it? I don't think I've taught this in this particular class on Zoom yet. So once we get into flexibility, I'll start adding more things. I want you to relax your right leg for a moment. Second side. And just to be clear, when I learned this in kinesiology from Dale Perry, he demonstrated I'm like an 80-year-old man who was stiff and cold, okay? There was no warm-up. You literally, you were going like this, inhale, exhale. Now granted, he was holding his leg, but still making him do active. So I want you to notice, how does it feel in the first couple? Remember, if you're doing this, guys, what we're doing in essence is tricking your nervous system. So this quick pull beyond your true range, it doesn't really allow your nervous system to relax, to react. So it's only a quick half second, 1 second pull, and then you're back to active movement. Okay. There's whole books written just on this method. It's really fantastic. It is a subgroup under the active dynamic form of stretching. Okay, so really good stuff. This is the only one we'll do tonight just to see how your body works, but it really can be applied to any muscle. Active reciprocal inhibition into passive, really quick pull. Okay, now take a moment. I'd like you to shake that out. That's a good introduction. I'm still going to stick with dynamic, but not such an aggressive approach.
Back to your first leg, yogis. Strap around the right foot. Now, this next thing is a little bit more like the knee dynamic. So that was very hip, right? Watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna inhale, bend the knee, pull it toward my chest, think lizard. Exhale, straighten, give a little bit. Inhale, bend, exhale, straighten. So it's much smaller, okay? Go ahead, inhale, bend, exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend, exhale, straighten. It is active, okay? You got a few more rounds. Feel it out, breathe. Now, we're not done yet, yogis, all right? I'm gonna keep it on this leg. If that's too much, shake it out slowly in between, okay? The key is to keep the leg in the stimulation of flexibility, but if you're new, listen to your body. Now, I'm gonna keep hold of the strap. This one's very subtle, okay? I'm gonna do this one, give you a break on this leg. The right toes are gonna turn out, so you can see from the hip joint, my toes are like facing the screen almost. And then I'm gonna turn the toes in. This is not easy. From the hip joint, you can even take your hand on your thigh. So as I inhale and turn the foot out, I kind of roll the hip out. And as I roll the foot in, I turn the hip in. So we're going through a few subtle methods I usually do not take the time for. But I want to make sure we're well-rounded and exposed to everything. I do this a lot less than other rotational methods, but this is really good stuff, okay? Now, another way we did a dynamic rotational warm-up, okay? But this isn't a hyper straight leg flexion. I'm rolling my toes out. Does everyone see that? I'm rolling my toes in. It's difficult to see. I'm rolling my toes out. I'm rolling my toes in. Out, in, okay? I'm gonna take a moment after that, slowly release the leg. I'm feeling some tingling, and I'm gonna shake it out, right? Nice. Let that blood just rush through the leg, right? Now we're gonna go back to our second leg and start with our dynamic, the knee movement. So we're gonna do a few more things here on the back, and then we're gonna come up. We're gonna work a few more things you're kind of more familiar with. So here we go. Left leg up. Now, this time, remember we did the leg swing and the passive pull. Now, I'm gonna bend the knee, which brings the thigh toward the chest. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Whew. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. This is work. Couple more.
People come to flexibility class and they're like, I want a nice, relaxing, holding, soft stretching. We do that some nights, right? But flexibility is work, guys. There's just no way around it, right? So I want to show you from this angle our second part. So you're going to eventually, the straps are on the left foot, you're here. Look at that left foot. It turns open to the left. And then I turn the foot into the right. I'm still like pulling a little bit, okay? So my left foot turns out to the left. Ooh, that's a tough one. Like activating that rotation. Again, you can take your left hand, your left hip, and kind of roll it out. And then you can kind of grip behind the hamstring and roll in. It's a little awkward, yogis. Try it, okay? Couple more. I'm actively creating the rotation from the hip joint, guys, okay? Last few. If you joined a little after we started, we're doing a little bit different stuff here in the beginning. We did a nice kind of like warm up, little extra light movements, looking through those joints. Now we're kind of, pushing them a little bit. So when you're done with the second part, which is the rotational aspect, take a release. Toes tingling, let the blood flow. We're not done yet, guys. So this is gonna be the final time I take you here. And now I'm gonna give two parts. The first part is taking the leg here. I'm not gonna have you go out here and hold, guys. Watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring
the right hand on the strap. I got my left hand here too. I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna bring it back up, and then I'm gonna bring it across. Not all the way. Let's start easy. I'm gonna bring the leg back through the center, over to the right. Right leg open to the right. I'm gonna bring the right leg up and across the body. Like I said, guys, if we always just hold end ranges and neutral, that's creating a problem, okay? We want to be just as aware, developed, in between all spaces and every inches, really. Okay, now, we're just being more well-rounded by doing it like this. Now, if you want to try the big one, we combine them all. So we start here. I turn my toes out. I slide the leg out wide. I bring it up across. I immediately rotate across the body. I bring the leg down in an enormous circular type crazy flexibility drill. It's an enormous circle with pulling on the strap end and leg engagement. And then if you're gonna do it, don't forget your rotational. Here's the lateral where we turn it out. Here's more of the neutral facing up. Here's where I turn it left across the body, medial. Last few. Either way, you can go across, much easier. You can draw a big circle. I've never taught this in the Zoom. I usually only would teach this in actually a power yoga or like a vinyasa, strong hatha, okay? It's okay to skip it. I will not take offense, all right? It's important that I let you make decisions and I don't tell you absolute do this, right? Now, when you're done, second side. So that is one of the biggest movements you can create in your hip joint. You really can't do it active. It's really hard to do passive in straight leg. So here we go. Second side, strap around. You start by opening the leg across, open, you bring it across, open, across. We do it with our hands in like a lot of power yoga. And then boom, big circle. But again, kind of start with your feet down and you bring the leg wide. You point the toes out slowly. There's your lateral rotation, the external of the hip. Okay, and then you bring the leg across, like kind of more up by the shoulder, the head. There's a kind of like a neutral, and then the foot has to start turning medial, like to the opposite. So your left leg would turn to the right. And if you don't get it, it's confusing. Circle your leg, turn and twist it, bend it a little if you need. Take it slow, be easy. Okay, last few rounds. Anytime we're doing something new on the body, pain is a message. It's a protection mechanism. The nervous system is designed to protect the body, all right? So it feels heat, pain receptors fire, right? So that happens a lot in mobility training. You're exploring unknown territories and the body is like, what are you doing? So it fires pain, better safe than sorry. So what happens is as we do this more, less pain receptors will fire. Okay, and if you're lighter, less stress and strain on it, they won't fire as much either. So, right, we know in neuroscience, people who stress more prone to stress, feel more pain. With no catalyst, people feel more pain who stress more. Okay, you get the same back issues in people low stress, high stress. The person with the stress response that's very developed, let's call it stress brain, they're going to feel a lot more pain from the same condition. Okay, so that's why I say stress management is king. All right, guys, let's come back out when you're done. You did the circling, you're on your own. I kind of didn't keep track of time or count, so I want you to listen to your body. Make sure you do both legs about equal, maybe the tighter side more. Next exercise, we gotta do hip flexors, quad, shoulder, we're done on our back. I might try to do a medial rotation here also. Now, we're gonna go back to our blocks here, guys. I need hip extension. The legs were here so much. I gotta bring my butt up. You can put your butt on a block, your hips, your sacrum, or a pillow or a bolster if you don't have them. But if you have a bolster pillow, you gotta be a little bit extra careful. You don't want it in your back arch, it's more in the pelvis. Now, I will teach the big one. If you're not Easy, okay, go slow, widen your feet. Look at my block, it's lower than my pants. There's a couple inches between my waist and my pants. I slide my feet forward, I slide those feet slowly forward, and then boom, here I am. Hip extension means the hips are the furthest part forward in the body. Okay, the opposite of flexion. Relax, guys, breathe. You can do other things with your arms if it feels good. Nice job with your strap work tonight. Really, it's just kind of like, not only is this a counter for muscles, joints, where the tension pattern is, the shortening, it's also energetically, we're moving a lot. All right, now you just kind of, you just chill, okay? Again, when we passively relax our muscles, we start to push into connective tissues more. So a newer person wouldn't really want you to hold this too long, even though most of us probably our muscles will take the tension, our fascia and the muscles. If you'd like to hold longer, I'll leave that up to you, okay? When you're done, feet closer together, near the block. I barely lift enough to remove my block. And voila, our counter is done. Now I want to bring it to a different body part, the shoulder. We haven't done this one in a while. It is safe to do cold. It's compression, so it creates heat. It's like a pigeon you can do cold. It's the laying on the arm and the shoulder. It's just so excellent. I really do this one. It's one of my main shoulder stretches I always do, often like in bed, if anything's bothering me in the upper body. Okay, now here we go. I'm gonna roll onto my left side. I'm gonna reach my right arm behind me, bend the elbow so the back of my hand rests on my spine. I'm gonna walk the back of my hand up my middle back, my spine. My right elbow goes down, my hands spread, fingers spread. I slowly release and lay onto the back. Now a little adjusting here, guys. A little adjusting. And you can knock your knees together, you can release your legs. We're still in chill mode, passive, compression stretch now. Close your eyes, breathe. I will do this stretch when I'm sitting on the couch. I literally do this while I'm driving a lot. Don't worry, I'm a very safe driver. I have one hand on the wheel and I just throw my arm behind me. That's all, okay? But it's a game changer for the healing of my shoulders. I dislocated my right shoulder, started in college. I dislocated the right shoulder about 10 times. And they all said I needed surgery. I never got it. Tendons were too stretched, right? Joint was too damaged. And this is the one that I eventually learned because I was starting practicing yoga and I was surfing and it would still pop out, not as serious. And I learned this stretch a long time ago and it was really a game changer intuitively. Okay, this along with one other one that I do all the time as well. So we're just laying on our hand. You feel wrist compression. So good for the wrist and hand and forearm. Elbow, that's why I love this one too. It's not just shoulder. Okay. Now I want you to take your time. We're not kind of doing yin tonight. We're just kind of playing with it here. I want you to go slow, roll off to your left, release your right. Go slow if you're new to it, guys, okay? And watch what I do. I just go to my second side, but before I do the second arm, look at this here, guys. My arm I just stretched is under me again, but it's lengthened, palm face up underneath me. And look what I do. I roll forward and back. Now, I don't think I taught this. Remember I did that self-massage class in gentle yoga one day. I also did that special foam rolling class on a Sunday. And this is one of my favorite modalities to massage out my shoulder and even part of my arm. Not an easy place to massage your arm. So this is a really nice one. Just this simple laying on the arm rolling. I'm gonna go to second side, left arm behind me, palm face up, elbow down, spread fingers, roll on back. Now, again, you don't need to obsess with how high your arm, your hand gets up, okay? I do want the shoulders away from the ears. You do play with the position till you find a nice compression, a nice stretch, and then you just relax, you know, just enjoy it, right? Breathe. Now I noticed I'm tensing up my left arm. Oh, now I'm relaxing it. That feels different. Even now I can still, wow, relax it a lot more. I'm guarding today. I'm tensing up my muscles subconsciously. Try to relax, yogis, and breathe. One kind of other additional benefit in this stretch is the arm is kind of playing the role of like a foam roller or a block, you could say. And it's pushing into the back of the spine and all those muscles kind of running up the back, the ribs. It's a very kind of multi-dimensional stretch and position. You know, if we didn't do restorative fish, it's such a fantastic way to kind of throw that in also, because the arm is kind of where the block is. You're laying on it, it's creating this arching, almost like fixation release, kind of like a chiropractor might do. If you're not familiar with fixation, it's kind of like a joint's pulled in a specific subtle range, and it kind of gets stuck there, locked there to keep it simple. And then when you crack, it kind of releases that tension or compression hold. You can get a lot of that foam rolling, blocks, or any stretch really. Okay, so now yogis, you're laying on your left arm. Eventually, you're gonna roll to the right, release your left arm. But I do want you tonight to remind you of this. I'm gonna roll back onto my left arm, but this time I'm on my side. And the arm is like under me. My main target is my outer shoulder. It's called the acromion deltoid. Remember that the acromion deltoid, along with trap, they do work to potentially be the strongest muscle complex like in the body, pound for pound. Let's not say it's stronger than your glutes, but let's say for the size of it, it can be, let's say, stronger. The acromion deltoid with the complex of the trap is meant for carrying stuff, right? I mean, how functional is that in our history of life? So it's a very well-developed neuromuscular train. We need to massage that outer shoulder a lot. It's very sore in a lot of people. You get muscle cording and a lot of knots, right? Let's get on our back here, guys. Let's keep it going. Let's do a little bit softer release here. Block your head if you have it. Let's take a little back and action. We won't be here very long, all right? Just notice it's not on my neck. Look at it. It's on my head. Yeah, the edge of the block might be creeping into the top of the neck, but too often I see this. It is not that. I know it's hard to see. It's here. Okay, it's right there. It's under the head. You can try like tucking your chin to your chest actively just to create more elongation through the back of the neck. If my neck hurts sometimes, I can't do plow, I will literally do this, except I'll put the block against the wall. If I'm gonna do this, the block's against the wall so it's stable. And I just let it pull through my splenia and my erectors, okay? So again, you can do it like this, but you can't really relax. The way I would do it, if my neck was hurting, which it kind of is actually, my block's up against the wall now, boom. It's a substitute for shoulder stand, plow pose. Okay, nice little traction for our neck there. Not too much in the neck. We did some twisting, but let's get something in there, right? We did the front and back with the fish. Now, last part here. I keep saying that. There's just too much good stuff on the back, right? And I know a couple of these weeks we haven't been doing much on the back, so I'm giving you a big dose here. The feet go wide, knees not left. My feet are wide. I say wide a lot, and people go really narrow feet. All right? Feet go wide, knees not left. If you want more, go slow. Left foot on the outer right thigh. Widen your arms, breathe. You're like this, guys. See this? Left foot on outer right knee, knees not left. Deepest breath possible. I'm not going to have you hold this one long. No one, not many people are used to weight bearing medial. Okay, come back to center. Feet wide, knees not right. Right foot on outer left thigh. Cut a knee area if you want more. I find in people's anatomy, yogis, that if you have sensitive knees too, you want the foot a little bit more like on the thigh for some of us. It's kind of a different stretch almost too. Or some of us can go right on the knee without irritation. I don't cue knee that much because if you like run, you have sensitive knees, you don't really want to risk irritating the knee. So, you know, just some food for thought there, okay? I gotta keep moving forward for time's sake, okay? Roll onto your chest. I wanted to show you the difference there, but we didn't get a chance. Now, I do not usually teach these two stretches back to back, but we're gonna do it tonight because it's kind of a little bit more advanced way of stretching, especially how I'm approaching it, this downward facing. Now, I will show easier if you can't do this. We're on our chest. To start, you're just gonna go kind of like here. Some of us might not be able to do this. So again, just wait for a moment. I'm gonna bend my left heel to my butt. You can go right side. My left side's front so you can see it. My left hand reaches back. Now listen, guys, I'm gonna pull my heel to my butt. Listen, drive my pubic bone down. Listen, drive your pubic bone down, all right? I say listen 12 times for that because no one does it. And it's the whole thing. Bending your knee, hip flex, knee extensors work with hip flexors. As I lengthen, the tension pulls me into anterior tilt. I need to work posterior. The front lowest pubic bone presses down. I pull my heel to my butt. It's kind of like when we lay on our back and we bring the knees into our chest, but then forward it arches our back. This is the opposite. I go here and it's going to kind of lift my hips up subtly and I got to push them back down. All right. And if you want more, you go here. Now, I forgot to give the easier version. It's more this. I tend to find that since you're not closed chain as much, laying on your chest versus on your side, closed chain means, let's say, your body is attached to the floor. It makes it more difficult or more stable. More stable usually means tighter. So you're on your side, it's easier to kind of give movement into getting that foot. Now, say you can't do that at all. We do this one all the time. Single or double leg, heel outside or under. We also do it standing. If you can't do any of it, what we usually suggest, standing against a wall doing it, foot to hand, you can do it like this. Okay, see how I'm using the strap? They're all good. Now make sure you're doing your other side. Let's switch it up. Let's not hold too long. Please go slow. The goal is to bend the knee very deep. And then posterior toe. So it's not this, it's that. It's not this, it's that. It's an extreme version. Last couple breaths here, yogis. And if you just want to not do any of that, that's cool too, guys. Okay. A lot of times when I'm working with people, you know, we just, like I said, you do it like this. See that? That's what you see in the gym a lot. People doing the workout that throw a stretch in. You're going for a jog or walk in the morning, you do this. You know, lay on the ground and stretch. Okay. I really think that quads
Glutes need to be strengthened more, and adductors, and quads and adductors need to be stretched more. Notice adductors is in both of them because they do not get any stimulation on the average person except locomotion balance. We really need to look at those quads as a stretch and more activation. Glutes need to be strengthened. Glutes, and adductors. Okay, here we go, guys. When you're done, here we go, child pose. We are going to do my favorite chest stretch, so you don't have to go there just yet. I'm going to have you move here now. So we've done a lot of static poses, compression, big hyper ranges, passive like restorative bridge, weight bearing like medial. Now we're going to go for our child pose for a couple of breaths. And I want you to notice, do you feel anywhere in your lower back? That's okay if you do, yogis. The body is designed to heal. The body is designed to rebuild. If we do an exercise and it irritates our body the first time, yogis, there could be a million reasons why that happens. You know, if you don't sleep well, you had a lot of stress today, your body is going to hurt more from nothing. Okay? You want your body to build, you got to sleep a lot. 99% of protein synthesis happens in sleep. That's where your body builds muscle and cells. 99% of neurogenesis in the hypothalamus, it's in sleep, guys. You're building new brain cells in sleep. It's not while you're studying, it's when you sleep, okay? Here we go, guys. Let's come back up. Tabletop. Let's inhale, arch the back. Cow. Exhale, round the spine, cat. Cat, cow. Forward and back linear. Dance like eventually. Big swirling. Freedom. Be messy. Be creative, okay? Yeah, Lori, I like that. Nice, Jesse. Nice, Stephanie. Nice, yeah, even Leslie, you've thrown a little bit more child pose in. Nice. They call child pose the posture of wisdom, okay? You usually don't think children to be very wise, right? But they don't judge anything. They're open to everything. They have a lot of fun, no matter what's happening in the world. They're not too serious. You know, wisdom is a funny thing. All right, let's keep going here, guys. Downward dog is next. Mainly, I'm using this for like calf stretch and underarm. So lat, think of it as a shoulder stretch. It is, okay? And then the back of those lower legs, ankles, and feet. So I do want to apply a little movement. I always suggest kind of move in ways I feel good. Not just your legs though, like your head, even your arms a little. If you always position your hands like the exact same, I am a yoga robot and I do the exact same thing every time. Do it different, widen your feet. Try your feet really wide, like really wide. So do it in a way you never did. Who knows, maybe you do one foot a little forward, one little back. So again, this reiterated idea of exploring the unknown of the body. All right. Dog can have many variations. Side bending. I don't teach that in this class. Where we side bend here, where we twist here, moving back and forth in dog. I don't teach that in this one. I want to give my practitioners a couple classes where we're not going to do that type of stuff. Because I'll push you in the strong classes. I'll push your mind and body. And this already has enough of that in it, I think. So downward dog, we got to stretch now the front of our ankles. So I sit back on the heels. And here's where I'm going to combine our side stretching. Now, take a moment to sit on your heels. This is a Vajrasana. So try to notice if you roll like the outer edges of your feet. You see how my heels are outward? I want to try to like roll my heels in and under. So I'm kind of on the front midline of my foot and shin. So top, okay? See that? You can't really see my heels much anymore as opposed to that, okay? So sit up there. Now I'm gonna add the side stretch because we want the long compression in the ankles. Right hand down, left arm up, just simple. Deepest breath, swallow your chest out. Now, there are more versions, a little bit extra for your tricep. I turn my palm behind me. I reach my hand down my back. I lift my left elbow up. and over. And I spiral my chest up. So bending the elbow here will create a longer pull through that same muscular line we're stretching. Same with like bending the knees when we're going front line. And we just did that on the chest. So if we add that knee to Sphinx, it's like Sphinx on steroids, okay? It's a lot more, and let's say full and complete. That's how the body works. Your hips are never not really working with your core, right? Your ankles are never not working with your knees. So they are one and the same, they work together. And that's how we want to try and practice and teach the body to work. All right, now, second side, I see some of you are already done. So if I ramble on, you just kind of listen to your body and you go, okay? Don't worry, I know I like to talk too much, okay? I think that information is very important though. I think that's what's really gonna help us grow. Not just doing, exercises, but evolving our understanding of ourselves. So that's a pretty long time on the ankles, right? Ideally, we do want a few minutes until it's basically almost unbearable for some of us. I could pretty much sit here all day, but that's through practice. You go until you can barely stand it, and you get off of them. Don't worry, the ankles are designed for weight-bearing compression. They do it every day. So you're gonna shake that out. Look at this one here. One of my favorites is just to kind of do that. See how I'm like stomping? Yeah. Let's do a wrist stretch. And then we'll take that big flow then down to the chest for the big chest opener. Now, I like to stick with a couple wrist stretches. We can get fancy here all day, but in my eyes, we gotta have these repetitive things, especially in certain parts of the body, to really get results. Classic, hands turn out, hands turn toward the body. Your wrist flexors are the strongest. They have your finger flexors, so you make a fist with a lot of these muscles. And it's the thickest, the deepest. There's like 3 layers of dense muscle here. Multiple joints, okay? So it's hard to beat this stretch here. I am leaning back and forward. That is optional. One thing I want you to notice that I often kind of forget, notice I see sometimes like people's pinkies are almost like lifting. Notice if you lean like weight to like this or like this, try to bring the weight kind of equally established or even toward the space you lean away from, let's say. That is always a thing in yoga. Like, where are you subconsciously shifting weight? We don't really want anything happening. We want to make everything more aware. We want to be clear so we can set the stage for how we want it to be done, if it could be done better, right? So let's come back to center. And I'm just going to do the 2 today, the back of the wrist. Back of the hand down. I always suggest one hand at a time. Easier is hand near knee. More is hand further forward. If you just like to go big, both hands. But if you seize up, one hand at a time. Work on straightening your elbows, roll and decrease your elbow forward, maybe very small movement forward and back, okay? Deepest breath possible, guys. But don't make that breath strenuous, don't make that breath stressful now. The reason I teach yoga in the power form the way I do, it's like interval. I don't want you to have extremely high heart rate stress through the whole class. I want intense, spike heart rate, mental strain, intensity, and then I want calm down. So it's sympathetic stress into parasympathetic. Get better at calming down. Back into the crazy, parasympathetic. Equal, not too much stress in exercise. All right, nice job. Sit back. If you want to do a toe stretch, just tuck your toes for a moment, shake your wrists out. Little toe stretch. So heels are together, ball of feet touch. It's just a quick in between. Fingers behind you, roll the shoulders back would be the kind of counter for those couple there, okay? But we don't really need to do this because we're going to do the opener here. When you're done, big movement, putting everything together. Butt toward heels, exhale.
Inhale, hips towards wrists, chin lifts, belly in, engage legs. Big exhale. Now, forward and back. Think of it like a second tier cat-cow. Eventually, more creative. Explore. If you want to do down dog, up dog, beautiful. If you want to do something unique and get crazy, right? I've done this stuff like this. It's kind of like the same with a leg forward, right? This is kind of like up dog. This is kind of like child pose. A little bit easier in this class. I leave out quite a bit of flexibility methods because they're a little too strenuous and aggravating. Don't be shy to add those. If you remember stuff from your routine, other teachers, my other classes. Oh my God, I just looked and it's 6:30. Oh no. What happened to time? Now, I think we did a lot of hips, right? We did this, we did this, we did this, we did the other thigh. We can't say we're done with hips. We can say we're done with the core. We did all ranges of motion. If you wanted one last little one for your core, just to make it well-rounded, see how I just draw the circle here? So that would mean we took care of every range of motion dynamically, all right? So this is, they call, a lot of people call this like all range of motions in one. If you have to do one, do circumduction, but I don't know about that, yogis. I don't think that's that good of advice. So I'm here, you see that? Just kind of getting low, getting left, getting back, getting right. There's not much joint rotation here, right? But you could do that. You could twist a little, come down, twist more, back, twist more. But the average person, when I see them doing it, they're not really doing that rotational quality. All right, I think a place we're lacking a little stretch, even though we did this, you could say we've done enough here. But I like to bring a big, intense stretch in the horizontal abduction. It's very tough for me to pick between this stretch and this stretch for my all-time favorite, okay? Lay on your chest. Left arm out. Push through your right hand. Regulars, you know it. Get used to it, remember it, do it regularly. If you want more, roll back to your chest, bend the arm 90 degrees at the elbow, but keep the elbow out, the palm down. Sorry guys, I usually never go really over, but we're gonna tonight. You can exit whenever you'd like. We're just gonna go maybe like 5-8 minutes over, okay? The reason this stretch is so just necessary and excellent is because of how humans live their lives. Biomechanically, muscular mechanics. Our arms are always in front of us in medial. It's better than an extension stretch, okay? Because it is more lat too. It's like front and back line because it's a horizontal adduction, abduction. Okay, now when you're done, second side. Go ahead. I think when I'm trying to answer that question of which one is better, it's just context, right? There's certain times in my life where this is the best stretch I can think of for my upper body. And then there's certain times where laying on my arm is the best stretch for my upper limb. So on my back there. I think it's maybe like what your patterns are, where you hold tension, just where you're at right now. And it might come to a place where you do one of them a lot and you start to apply the other more. When I stretch, I don't really do like super well-rounded always, like I do more in class. I just kind of sense what my body needs, and I spend a lot of extra time in those particular areas or movement planes. Same with strengthening, okay? It's just some food for thought. We tend to exercise away in class where it's well-rounded for a big group. So we hit more stuff. But I do that also all the time. Like when I exercise, it's kind of like everything, okay? I do everything a lot. I don't really do, that kind of contradicted each other, but we're gonna come back to center. All right, guys, let's sit up. And just to close out here, I wanna think lateral rotation, spinal rotation stretch if you want it, touch your toes if you want it.
We're done after that, okay? So first thing here, I'll do the seated pigeon. We do this one a lot less. If there's another stretch you want to do, left ankle to top right knee, bend here. Flex the foot, look at my left knee. See, I want to come to my shoulder, push the left knee away. I want to lift up through the chest. Press my left knee away, lift my chest. Last few breaths. Quick holds. We already did strap stretching. I feel that one tonight. Big inhale here, yogis. Slowly switch sides. Like, for example, I think this is a stretch that's overdone. The pigeon, the figure four, the double pigeon, the Gomukhasana. Stretching makes muscles weaker. It does. If our objective is to get rid of sciatica, because your piriformis syndrome is pinching your sciatic nerve, and we keep just stretching the glute, most likely you have piriformis syndrome because your glute is stuck long, overstretched, weak. So we could potentially be, we're not fixing the cause, we're just kind of silencing the symptom. A lot of times I see that, guys, you know, it'll hurt because you're trying to strengthen your glute that's atrophied. But really what we need to do is strengthen it, not keep just stretching that irritated muscle. Even though you should do that too, but you got to add really what you're lacking, which is the cause, which is sometimes the glute max is too weak. Do your bridges, okay? Twist, left ankle outside right knee, right arm up, go ahead, twist to the left. Deepest twist of class. Just a few breaths. I told years back, I told this story. I was learning how to like study sciatica because I was in muscular pathology, an injury rehabilitation class. I paid $40 for a video. It was one stretch. It's the one we're doing right now. I was like, what the heck? But I get it, but I just don't think that that's the best method. Strengthening your glutes, if it's muscular, sciatica is probably your best bet. Glute maximus in particular. All right, guys, so you're gonna do your second side of your twist. We're kind of here in the end of class, so if there's something we didn't do any of those normal stretches, a lot of them we normally do, you can do those. But think about another like minute and a half. I'm gonna do that twist and then a toe touch, symmetry. We did restorative fish bridge. We're done in the extension plane. We did enough. We did more than enough, okay? So when you're done with your twist, a nice way to close. If you wanna go big, lay on your back, swing your legs up over your body. Basically a very similar posture. This will be more legs, lower back. It tends to be laying on your back, swinging your legs up over. It will be much more neck, upper back. We'll start to shift into that lower back. You can reach your arms up. We're just going to reach for our toes. And that is going to be kind of the closing stretch. We will do a group 1 minute meditation after. If I skip Shavasana in a class, I have nightmares all night. Just kidding, but it's kind of like, I didn't do my Dharma, all right? Shavasana is more important than any stretch. So listen, guys, you did your final stretch. A couple of you still going. No worries, take your time. You got plenty of time. You do Shavasana on your own if you need. And I want to just speak to that idea of the 1 minute meditation. If you want to start meditating, this is my advice. This is what changed the game for me. 1 minute meditation every day. It's so easy. Someone asks you meditate every day, you say, yeah, you do. You don't have to mention the time, okay? On good days, you go 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour. My best meditations I've ever had were over 2 hours. Truly, I've been able to sit and be in a trance and time flies and I don't want to leave it. A couple hours I've done. And I remember being in the state where I only want to meditate for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Nothing happened. 1 minute tonight. Sit up or lay. Take a big inhale. Feel that breath. Big exhale. On the exhale, relax your eyes, face, jaw, and body. No deep breathing, a trance internally. 60 seconds. A big thing in yoga, we bless everything. Right now, I would bless my body. Bless the cells, picture the organs, bless it, bless it. You get food, you bless it. You meet somebody, you bless them, right? You walk by somebody, you bless them. That's a huge thing in yoga, and we want to work on doing it to ourselves. Send those positive vibrations, okay? Really nice job with your yoga this evening. Remember, flexibility is in the stronger tier. Soreness is likely, your challenging ranges and the development of the body. So foam rolling and even strengthening, a lot of extra walking, hot, cold therapy tomorrow. All right? I appreciate you, yogis. Happy New Year. Thanks for still being here with me, giving me this opportunity to grow as a teacher as well. All right? I couldn't do it without you guys. So I appreciate you all. Namaste.